It's the I Can't Mom Today podcast with Heather, the new mom, and Vera, the seasoned mom. I Can't Mom Today.
Hi, this is Vera and Heather back again with another episode of I Can't Mom Today podcast. Hi, Vera.
Hello, Heather. How you doing?
Good. Have you seen the what is that show? It's with Theranos, the girl that duped Theranos or created Theranos. And she talks really slow and very deep.
Oh,
Elizabeth Holmes,
the blood testing thing.
Yeah.
I've seen one of the shows on her. I haven't seen the newest one.
Yeah, with Amanda Seyfried or whatever.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. Is that the one you're watching or just watched or whatever?
I finished watching it, but the reason why I say that is because I am naturally just a fast talker. I've always been a fast talker. And when I go back and edit our podcast, sometimes I'm like, what did I say? So I'm really trying to be aware and slow down for everybody.
Okay, not quite that slow.
So that's why I was like, when I introduced it, because that was the part that really ran together. I was like, as opposed to, hey, this is Vera and Heather. So I'm being very aware. I'm trying to be very aware, piece by piece.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Just don't be like Jer Bear who makes long pauses and then you're like, wait, is he done? Nope, not done.
You mean pregnant pauses?
Yes.
Yeah. Funny story about Jer Bear is one of the first times I met him. Y'all had come home from a date and I was babysitting Luke. And it was probably between midnight and 3. Those are the windows that you would come home. And he decided to get a snack, chips. And it was, so and it would be like a minute. And I was like, I'm not sure if he's done. I think, and then I would just get to the point where I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go. And then he would start talking. And I was like, shh. Okay. I think that conversation lasted like an hour. I was like, from now on, I'm just going to be like, okay, well, I have to go home.
Exactly.
I love Jerry, but like between midnight and 3, I was just like, I can't, unless I'm drinking, right? And I'm staying there and I don't have to worry about driving anymore. But yeah,
exactly. No, get out while you can, man. Because everybody knows that. It's like, you're like, quick story, real quick. And everybody's like, oh, damn it.
Never.
Make sure you got your drinks filled.
Locked
and
in.
Make sure you made a pee break. I mean, I've literally like gotten to the point, well, when we were dating, of course, I was a lot more polite about it, but I'd be like, I have to go to the bathroom. Like, and I know I wouldn't say this, but I'm like, I know it's going to be at least another 20 minutes and I can't hold it that long.
Sure. So you didn't start wearing diapers?
No. Yeah. Conversation diapers.
As the people.
Now he just follows me around the house. So I'm like, okay, I got to pee. You can follow me if you want. He's like, okay. So he follows me. He keeps talking like a little kid. He keeps talking. I'm peeing. He's like, so anyway, la 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 la. Yeah. So it's cute. I mean, his stories are really good. So
yeah, for sure.
It's uninteresting, but it's what he has to say is very interesting. It just takes him a while.
You got to have time. You got to, Jerry doesn't work on a clock.
Yeah. Like he has a podcast and I edit his podcast and I've told him, I'm like, I really think this podcast is going to be too long.
Oh,
they try.
No.
Yeah. They're long. So
so
good.
How are you?
Anyway, yeah. I was okay, but considering the topic today, I would like to thank you for coming up with the topic and manifesting my period.
Sure. So our topic today, leading into it, is about periods and why we are we're
period shaming.
Ashamed of having our period, and we're like, it's a big secret. And it all came from, I'm really trying to streamline everything. Like I don't want to carry around a big bag or anything anymore. So I have like my phone, it has a little wallet on it, and I had my period. So I had to take my tampons, my little tiny tampons, and put it in my pocket. And then I was like, well, what if somebody sees it? What if somebody sees my tampon? I'm like, what does it matter? Like, who cares? I had chapstick in the other one. So they probably thought I was like, really? Why does the girl have so many tampons in her pocket?
Is that a chapstick in your pocket? Or are you just glad to see me?
And I remember I bought some less expensive, like natural tampons one time. And I was discreetly trying to get it out of my purse. Why do we have to be discreet about it? But it was like, And I was like, oh my God.
Like a
Don't worry about. Yep. I mean, it was the loudest, crunchiest plastic, or not, it was biodegradable plastic or whatever, but it was the loudest, crunchiest that I've ever heard in my entire life. I was like, it's worse than the containers of like cookies or stuff, that you have to than that.
So you're not doing the whole like what do you call it, that little cup thing that you're doing for a little while?
I go off and on. I'm all over the place. Like sometimes I did I used to do the Diva, or it wasn't a Diva cup, but it was something similar to that. And then there was like the pod looking one that I use, and I still have all of them. I still use them here and there. So yeah, it just depends on how big of a rush I'm in, right? Because they aren't convenient.
Yeah. Well, that's what they sounded messy to me.
It's messy anyway. Come on. Like, let me tell you, the first 2 days in the morning, it's like a bloodbath. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I'll take that out.
Okay.
But it's like
Make a note.
It's a bloodbath. I mean, seriously, I could be in there for like in the bathroom for like 10 minutes. I'm just like, what is going on here? Why do you rebel against me, buddy?
Oh, I know. Yeah. The first couple days for me are pretty heavy. Like I go through a super in like, a couple hours.
Yeah.
Totally. And I swear this one medication they tried to give me when I was, first, the RA first started, I swear it made my periods heavier. And I had 2 in a month one time.
Gross.
And I looked online. It was that hydroxychloroquine or whatever, that they thought was going to cure COVID. And then all the people that needed it couldn't take it because it was running low on it. Yeah. Anyway, it didn't work for me personally, but it works for some people. And I looked it up online and it didn't say it. I couldn't find anything about it affecting your periods, but since I went off of it, everything's been back to normal. So I don't know if it's that or just my acupuncture just tweaked me somehow. I don't know. But anyway, so I feel the heavy periods, man, because it sucks.
But it's just like, why do we have to hide it? I mean, not that I'm saying like I'm going to wave a used tampon around or whatever, but or, announce to everybody, but it's a sucky time. Like, I don't know anybody that is on their period and they're like, yeah, I feel really good during it.
Right.
Like you're tired, you're moody, and at varying degrees. Some people like go down.
I do sometimes.
Really bad ones. Yeah. I mean, I don't,
sometimes
but I
can't, I don't want to leave the house sometimes. Yeah.
I'll get like back cramps or just feel like mush.
Yes. Well, again, though, I have to say I'm better, probably that only happens to me maybe like 10% of the time. And usually it's only for like the first day or two, maybe, or sometimes the second day is worse than the first. I don't know why, but anyway, but I agree with you that we shouldn't. And actually that's one of the things because poor Jer Bear, he didn't even know what a period was because
he'd been married before.
Well, yeah. Well, he didn't know what a period was before he got married, because he's older than I am, and so he really comes from. I mean, he's a baby boomer basically, and so think about the way. I mean, they were a lot more discreet about this kind of stuff. They certainly didn't have tampon commercials on TV or anything like that. Did they have TV? I'm teasing, but anyway, right. But he told the story about how he literally had to ask his friends like, what's a period, because he only had brothers and his mother had a hysterectomy right after he was born, so he didn't find, it wasn't like he was finding tampons or maxi pads around the house. So he sincerely had to ask his friends when he was like 18, like, can you tell me what a period is? Because
they probably didn't show that, like the stick figures.
No, they didn't. When he went to Catholic school, they went to Catholic school, so I don't think they had any, like sex ed or anything, So so he literally didn't know what it was because that's how discreet everybody was about it and didn't talk about it. Whereas flash forward with me and Luke, especially being a single mom, I decided, I was like, I'm just going to be very open and honest with him. And of course, he learns a lot at school, because they start talking about it fairly early on now. In my day, they waited till high school, but now they start talking about it, I think in middle school. It was with Luke, about health education.
I did in elementary. Mine was elementary school.
I can't remember. I want to say it was either like late elementary or middle school. So maybe like 4th or 5th grade. I remember I had to sign a paper giving him permission because some parents didn't want them to learn about it. And so if the parent didn't sign the permission slip, then the kid would be taken out of the class because it was only like a couple days, it was
if
like
we don't talk about sex, there'll never be a problem. The sex won't happen.
I think that so anyway, so between that and then me being very open and just being like, hey, Aunt Flo arrived this morning. I'd tell him, and I just don't feel good. And he'd be like, oh, do you have really bad cramps? I'm like, yeah. So he knows because if I'm the only one there to take care of him and I'm not feeling good, I would just admit to him I'm not feeling good and admit to him why.
Yeah.
And then too, like if he had like friend girls over, there have been a couple times where he'd be like, Mom, so-and-so needs a tampon. Can I get one of your tampons? They're like, yeah, sure. And I'd give him one. He's like, well, they said they need a really big one. And I'm like, oh, well, that's, it's a super. He's like, super. I said, yeah, see the S on it. And he's like, oh, okay. For some reason, I would think that would mean small. I'm like, no, it means super. So I'm really open about it with him.
Yeah.
But I would say, I don't know if part of it is it's kind of like I don't want people looking at me being like, oh, she's on the rag.
I remember being in school that there would be girls that had they didn't know that they had started and they had a spot on the back of their pants and people would just make so much fun of them. And I hated that. Like at the time I didn't say anything because I don't know. I should have said something probably, but I didn't. And I would, if I could go back, I would, but it's just, it's like that, but it happens, right? No matter how, sometimes I'm just like, I wear a panty liner, I wear whatever it's tampon, whatever I'm using at that time. I try to back everything up, but sometimes I'm just like, where the hell did this spot come from? Like where, like what part of my body is bleeding at this point? Like
I know, right?
You just can't.
What's it coming at orifice?
It's like a magician. Or sometimes you'll take a tampon out and there's like, it's not on the end of it. You're like, what the?
Yeah.
Like, how did you get around the end of it?
Yes, that's happened to me before too, where it seems like it kind of drips down the side somehow.
Yeah,
because it's like the tampon won't be full. That like the tampon's not full, but somehow it made its way down the side. I don't know. Like it didn't absorb.
Like you can do as much as you can, but sometimes you have an accident and it's just to be embarrassed about that. Cause I'm paranoid and it's probably because everybody was making fun of this girl. But I'm paranoid. Like I'll be like, oh, there's a spot on the back of my jeans. And I'll say, I've never had an accident, but I'm so paranoid.
Well, I think every woman is. But again, there is that too, where it's treated like, oh, well, she's on the rag. And well, so she's being a bitch because she's on the rag. Yeah. And that's where I think one of the reasons why I wanted to be so open about it with Luke, so that he'd have more sympathy, and be like, oh man, you don't feel good, instead of being, oh, she's on the rag,
yeah,
screw you.
And men have changes in their body throughout the month like we do, but it's not as drastic. And so could you imagine not having a single day being the same? You wake up today and you're like, I feel great. And then tomorrow you're like total dog poo.
Yeah.
And so it's you don't know. And so could you imagine living your entire life like that and having to just wake up every day and not know? Could you imagine that? Like cut us some.
You mean being a guy and not knowing?
No, like men are typically they have fluctuations, but it's more even. And so when guys are like, well, she's being a bee, are you on your period? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, I just don't know how I'm going to feel today. And like that, it really does. Our hormones do dictate how we're feeling and how much energy we have and how, so like men who give women a hard time with how they feel, I just want to shake and just be like, you don't know. You'll never know.
I want to do more than that.
I know, but I mean, and Brad's great. Like some days I'm like, man, I just feel like trash. So I'm just going to be a blob. And he never questions it. He never challenges back and says, well, you have this to do, or you have that. That's me actually. I do that to him. I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you laying down?
Heather.
I don't do it a lot, but I'm just like, why are you laying down? Yeah. And if he goes, I don't feel good, I'll be like, okay, good. Okay.
Yeah. And Jerry will give me a little bit of because I will, like I did that this Sunday. I had a pajama day, didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny now looking back. I'm like, oh yeah, I was probably PMSing.
Mhm.
But I just, just hung out and watched TV all day. But then the next day I felt a little better because I felt like I had a day to recharge.
Mhm.
But sometimes on those days he will be like, well, you want to get up and go for a walk? I'm like, no. Not really. I'm just being lazy. I don't feel like putting clothes on. I might brush my teeth, and that's about all you'll get out of me.
Maybe you can get him to get you like a giant stroller that he can push you around in on those days. Like if you like me to, yes, you probably would fit in one of those red wagons or whatever. They have the new upgraded ones. You could probably fit in one of those and be totally
not the
fine.
same. I have to admit, I've looked at some babies and like they're all snuggly and like all squishy and they're a little stroller, with their hat and their blankie. And I'm like, oh, I wish I could do that. I want to do that.
You can. I bet you could. I bet you could.
It's probably on some fetish website.
No, but I'm saying like just because we have one next, you need to come visit me and we'll test it out in Baker's and see if you can.
If I can fit.
That. Yeah. And it even has we have one that has like a little visor over the top of it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So it keeps you protected
from the sun and everything and a hat.
You can get a blankie. We have a big giant Yoda pillow that you can put in there, or a big giant Chewbacca pillow that you can put in there.
Nice. Perfect.
You can relax on. Yeah. It'd be nice. Yeah. I mean, I think you could do it. And we
have
should get
someone
one
drag you around all over town.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Be like, take a right, take a right. Nope, take a left.
Exactly. You're going the wrong. Yes. Jared'd be like, I'd gladly pull you around, but you'd still be a backseat driver.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're gonna be in the front.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
Yeah. So how about we stop stigmatizing women in their periods? Let us just
period.
Let us openly grab our tampons out of our purse or out of our pocket and just.
I thought you were going to say something else. Sorry.
No.
Let's openly grab our tampons out of pool. Whoa.
No.
I'm not quite up to being that open.
No. But yeah, let's just be a little bit kinder to women.
Be kinder to each other and be open with it. And again, I think it's fine to be. And again, it's maybe up to personal preference, but I think it's important to be open about it, especially just having so that people have some sympathy, and don't just treat it like, I'll never forget. I had a gym teacher and she was female. And the first day of class, she was like, just so you know, menstruation is no means for an excuse not to play or whatever, I was just like, ugh, you're so mean. Like, why are women so mean to each other?
I will say I used to use that excuse for to go take a nap at school sometimes.
Yeah.
Because we had a clinic and they would always let you lay down with a heating pad for an hour.
Well, shoot. I mean, I don't care. I mean, seriously, it's gym,
I agree. I
mean, it's important for us to get our exercise, but if once in a while you say, look, I can't do anything, then
yeah. How dare
damn it.
her.
Yes,
dear.
I hated her. And she knocked me down the advanced volleyball court to the intermediate court because the boys all complained because I was the only girl. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And we also be very open about it too, because I feel like I think my mom gave my sister a book about it, and then I was just kind of left to my own devices.
Yeah. My mother was sort of open about it, but it was still, again, I got more information from my friends really.
Mm-hmm.
And my sister.
Yeah. I got mine from, I guess I just eventually figured it out. I don't really remember, but I don't think there was ever a talk. If there was, and I blocked it out because it was probably traumatizing.
Maybe it was that bad.
No, just talking to Mom, I don't want to hear this. Not from you, Will.
Ew.
You're asexual. Right? All moms are.
Yes.
But yeah, let's talk about it. Let's start with our boys and our girls and our non-binary and just let's talk about it. So everybody knows. Everybody's comfortable with it. Let's send our boys to go in and get tampons and pads.
That's right.
All those kinds of things. If you have any suggestions on how to broach this subject or be free about it, hit us up on our Facebook page at I Can't Mom Today Podcast, or you can email us at ican'tmomtodaypodcast@gmail.com. We're also on Instagram, Twitter.
Yep. He's
TikTok.
around. And don't forget to rate us.
Yes. The stars are at
Yes,
the bottom.
please.
Until next time.